Alright, so for those who it's been too long since you've heard me read Breaking the Faith, this fic just continually goes off the rails. Like, every chapter so far has been, like, a little boring at the beginning, and then it immediately skyrockets, and, like, there's no telling where it's going next. And I don't even remember what all happened last time, to be honest. I know we encountered, like, centaurs up beyond the wall.
Oh, yeah. Wait. What about... Was it? No. I remember unicorns.
Well, unicorns are already part of Game of Thrones. But these were not Game of Thrones unicorns. These were more fantasy unicorns.
They were wow. The unicorns in Game of Thrones are pretty much goats with long, spiraling horns.
They're just goats with one horn. But
pretty much.
I am supposed to share a picture of Sansa in armor because it's just as outlandish as this. So, here we go.
Man, my image is more outlandish. Man.
He wouldn't even be able to stand up in that.
Not only is it Sansa in armor, which is just never gonna happen, it's Sansa in poorly made, like in bad armor.
Oh, completely unfunctional. Just it's
terrible.
Bad.
That or leather armor, which is...
She has a stronger jaw than I do.
At least I can move in leather armor. That you can't move in. Or you can't move well. Those van braces would restrict wrist movement so much.
Something I remembered from last time. Robert decided that Jon was going to be king after him.
Oh, I remember this. I remember you telling me about this.
I don't know if I can stomach this.
You have to stay.
Man, it might seriously kill my interest in writing the rest of the first chapter of the Gamer fic.
It should.
Okay.
It should give you rage to write a good thing.
So, Joffrey got disinherited and was going to be sent to the wall. And before that could happen, Sansa tried talking to him because she was apparently still obsessed with her golden prince, who wasn't a prince anymore. And he decided to hit her. And so, Lady, Sansa's direwolf, ripped his fucking arm off.
Makes sense.
And Robert just stayed on his horse, watching his son bleed out in the mud.
Great story. I love it.
That sounds really like that would happen.
Wait, Myth, are you streaming or like?
Yes, I am streaming,
in Discord?
But I need to share my screen in Discord. Yes.
Yeah, that's what
we hadn't started reading yet, so.
All right.
There we are.
Zero, do I need to not Zero, man, do I need to share that screenshot with Zero?
What screenshot?
Yeah.
What screenshot? Share it with the class.
I
put it in. I
put it in my fiction room.
Table.
Put it in my
I accidentally put it in the gaming table. Hold on, I'll put it in a. Yep.
It's okay. That's just
Myth
a single
fiction room.
clip.
There we go.
But let's share with the class.
So and Dr. Benjamin Braddock are mine and man's alter egos on Twitter.
U.S. to annex Canada. I never want to visit Canada again unless I'm an invading soldier.
We're going to fix Canada. We're going to destroy.
You know, the last time we tried to do that, it didn't turn out too well for us.
Yeah,
well, we got drunk.
Yes, but this time
we'll burn the White House again.
This time we'll have the rest
you'll
of
have to beat
Canada
us
on
too.
our side. because we're gonna destroy.
Actually, yeah,
Quebec.
your guys are burning down the White House right now.
Exactly. We'll help you burn it down.
God damn it!
But no, we'll get half of Canada to side with us because we'll promise to bomb Quebec.
I better leave Quebec first then.
Yep.
Just heard
you will be
the move to
lot.
Texas already.
Yeah, Zero. You will be lot to Quebec Sodom. We'll let you out.
All right.
Or he'll just be a worthy sacrifice.
No, that will be the one tragedy of the entire. Not the hundreds of thousands of people displaced and all the chaos and everything. It was that our buddy Zero got caught in the crossfire.
So back to breaking the faith.
What a great story.
Part of Robert naming John as his heir was promising him the hand of the most beautiful woman in the Seven Kingdoms, which is apparently Marjorie in this.
I mean, debatable.
Currently in the Seven Kingdoms, probably.
I don't know. Ariane.
Oh yeah,
There'd be a lot of other women.
That is a compelling argument.
You also have to consider a lot of the small folk women would need to be like, cleaned up and given some makeup to make a fair comparison.
They don't matter. They're small folk.
Seriously.
If
Obviously, none of them is going to be more beautiful.
If we're talking about people, we only mean the lords and ladies.
Naturally.
The small folk are they're ants. They're useful, but they're not people.
They're small.
They're cannon fodder.
I'm not even sure I'd give them that much credit.
Oh,
Yeah, cannons don't exist.
another thing.
They're meat shields.
Yeah.
Yes.
And another thing about this fic, it apparently includes several chapters in each chapter, because we are on chapter 2, which is actually chapters 5 through 8.
That's
Because that
what brilliant writing.
And
logic.
so we are technically on chapter 5, which is Marjorie's second POV chapter. I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea what happened in Marjorie's first POV chapter.
Yeah, I don't either.
Don't you know? She fell in love with John.
Probably. So let's jump in. Good morrow, Marjorie greeted as she entered the Queen's ballroom of the Magor's Holdfast.
The Magor.
Yeah, the Magor's Holdfast, not just Magor's Holdfast. Of all the changes she could have predicted in her life, this was not one of them. She was in the Queen's ballroom of Magor's Holdfast, the keep within a keep that had faithfully guarded generations of House Targaryen from all harm. She was sleeping in a princess's suite within the Holdfast, and betrothed to the one and only Prince of the Realm.
Wait. Was Tommen disowned?
Yes, Tommen was forced to join the Citadel, remember?
Why?
I did not remember.
Tommen was forced to go to the Citadel instead of the Night's Watch.
Did something happen to Marcella too?
I don't remember.
To you, man.
Oh, yes. Tyrion was made the Lord of Casterly Rock, and Marcella was named his heir.
That makes no sense.
It doesn't
I
have
think
to.
we're making
It doesn't have to make sense.
We are talking about the planet that has like 2 supersets of seasons.
That has no relevance on the actual character, lores, or motivations within the...
I mean, making Tyrion the Lord of Casterly Rock makes sense.
From the start, we've established.
Yes.
Making
But a
Marcella
woman would
his
not be
heir,
the heir.
No, it would have made sense to make Tommen his heir.
And
But-
even before Marcella, there's still Tyrick, there's still Lancel, there's still a lot of people that be made heir before her.
Multiple children of one child from Tegus. 3 of them, I think. Didn't Kevin have like 3 sons?
Yeah. Like there's a
Yeah, you
lot
get
of
the gist. There's a shit ton
there
of
are a
Lannisters.
lot of Lannisters.
Yeah, there's
You
a
know
bunch
who
of
should
Golden-
get it? Joy Hill. She should get it.
How did I
Yes.
know you were gonna say that, Zero?
Yeah, yeah.
The best part of
The
all
world
of it,
needs
though,
joy.
was the way John looked up from the stack of parchments in his hands, immediately set them aside, and greeted her with an appropriately chaste kiss on her forehead. Once she was seated, he signaled the servants to bring her a fresh selection of breakfast foods and focused entirely on her. How did you sleep? Quite well, my prince, she gave him an impish grin, despite having my first cat dream.
What?
Cat dream?
Oh God, no. Oh no. No. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Already? Your bond is developing quickly. He seemed pleased by this development, like he was honestly proud of her. Your warnings helped, she admitted. If I had not expected such a dream, it would have been truly frightening. But since I knew it was coming, and that it was a good thing, it was easy to relax into the dream and explore the castle through Darling's eyes. Else I would have fought the dream and the bond, and... She shook her head. It had not even been 2 weeks since they had come together, and yet the very idea of hurting her darling in such a way would have broken her heart, which in turn would have broken John's, and that was just unacceptable. Your plans... Is it everything you hoped for, Dylan?
I have a question. Is Darling just a house cat?
I don't remember clearly, but I want to say it might be a shadow cat.
Oh God, no.
Of course,
I
it's
think
not
it was a
house
shadow
it's a
cat.
cat.
This shows such a misunderstanding of skin change. Oh.
Your plans for today? Small council meeting in an hour. Based on his missive, I would say Lord Varys has at last realized that Lord Renly is up to something. John rolled his eyes. Marjorie glanced over at her brother, who was sat at... It's your favorite phrase, Zero.
Oh no, no.
Oh, come.
Why?
At John's
What?
right was sat.
Oh God.
I think that might be the most common phrase from Rising Sun, other than Garion's trademark grin.
Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Not wearing the white armor of a Kingsguard, it should be noted. She had not been privy to the conversation between Loras and John, or the one between John and King Robert. But whatever had been discussed left Loras without his desired place on the Kingsguard, and somehow happier for it. He was not John's lover. That she knew. She and John had sworn their blood families were safe from each other, and Loras did not have the smug look he wore after making yet another new conquest. Okay.
Yes, robotic buzzing. That was the appropriate response.
Very much so. She thought perhaps John had a bit of matchmaking in mind, but he had not said, and he had a right to his secrets. And it was fun, knowing something Loras did not. She did hope her brother would enjoy being the future Lady of What? What?
What?
What?
It's official. Loris is gonna become the Lady of Winterfell.
I
I should use that in my fanfic. I'll make Loris
sword swallower.
I'll make Loris
that
the
makes
Lady
him
of Casterly Rock
Oh, God.
with Tyrion as the Lord.
I guess that would make Sansa the Lord of Winterfell.
No, I'm remembering now. I'm pretty sure in this Rob is gay.
Oh. Fuck.
Oh yeah. I forgot
That's-
about that.
So he's gay and he has no soul because he's a ginger. Lovely.
And John bats for both
Sorry,
teams.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
what?
Why, yeah, John bats for both teams. That's why there's this comment of Loris not being John's lover, and them swearing that their blood families were safe.
I mean, look, John likes the dick, okay? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Alright?
Does he pitch or catch? That's the serious question.
He does both. He both pitches and catches, sometimes from Marjorie.
I don't know
Wait,
what
he
to
catches
feel
for
about
Marjorie? What?
He catches for Marjorie.
May I attend
Wow.
with you? She asked.
I didn't
John.
realize there were medieval strap-ons.
I mean,
John is literally an emissary of the gods. What makes you think he can't just make her grow one of her own?
hell yeah.
Oh, lovely. We've got Game of Thrones Fuda shit now.
Yep. Don't you just love this? I'm having the time of my life here.
We
Faith
barely
of the Seven
even.
are not a pantheon worth believing in.
They obviously agree. They sent John to destroy their own faith.
I didn't know that was the premise.
Yeah. Of course. Then John paused and seemed to relive their conversation. He looked up at her in confusion. Attend a small council meeting? Why would you want to do that to yourself? Because she wants to be queen, obviously.
So John's gonna be just as bad as Robert.
That's what I'm picking up.
I
A shorter, less alcoholic, and bisexual Robert.
Who's to
that
say
sounds
Robert?
horrifying.
Who's to say Robert isn't bisexual in this?
That insinuates. Oh god, yeah, he wants to fuck Lyanna Stark and Ned Stark. Yep, confirmed. And then since John resembles a young Ned, he'll want to fuck John, his adopted son. Yay.
Let's
I'm
just
cooking
stop
up
there.
this
Let's
Yeah,
just stop
it's
there
getting
and
worse
continue
the more
reading.
I think about it.
I was thinking about our conversation that first day. She paused. She did not want to get too specific about their conversation on the beach because she did not wish for the entire capital to know the names of their combined targets. Thankfully, John nodded his understanding. If I am to be your partner, I need to understand the fullness of your role within the realm so that I may best support you. John had not pushed her to get to work at his side. He had given her the time and space to settle into a new city and a new life. Perhaps he knew she had needed the time to cultivate the gossips and other connections for their success. Perhaps he understood the personal stress all of the recent changes had put on her. If anyone would, it was he. But now it was time for her to get to work, to put her back into her side of their agreement. For any chance of success against someone like Littlefinger, she would need to conduct research. All of the resources she needed for her research should be within the Tower of the Hand. Oh, speaking of the Tower of the Hand, another insane decision that was made in Chapter 1 was Robert making John Hand of the King for an hour.
Oh,
yeah.
that. Oh.
Good stuff.
Oh no.
I love this story.
This is
I forget what he did with it.
that's when he sentenced Joffrey to the wall, Tommen to the Citadel.
Oh yeah.
I gave Jaime his trial by combat.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wait, I forgot about Jaime's trial by combat. What happened?
Oh, Jon destroyed him.
Of course.
Cause he's so good.
He now mind you, this Jon is nowhere near the level of Rising Sun Jon.
Yes.
But he's still pretty up there.
He's supposed to be based off Jon as he died in the last book, right?
Yes.
Then he'd never beat Jaime. Not a Jaime with both hands.
Sounds like you're jealous of Jon.
Sounds like you're ignoring the will of the gods there.
They're in the north. The Seven have no say.
And the thing that led to all of this, we talked about like Jon leading Stannis to discover Jaime and Cersei, and Tywin inviting himself. When they got to the broken tower, Tywin heard the moaning and rushed ahead, and he opened the door.
Oh, that.
And immediately killed Cersei. Like, he drew his sword, barged in, and killed Cersei. And then instinctive reaction, Barristan stabbed him through the back of the head.
You're telling me Tywin would kill his daughter, but he wouldn't kill Tyrion?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you feel Smurf's soul break?
Yeah, it's glorious. We've barely started the chapter.
What soul? My ginger beard
if
prevented the
I
soul from
remember
being born into me.
correctly, this is the one where there are unicorns. There was a fucking bath in the first chapter where like
Yes.
Tyrion died.
Not
Cersei
Tyrion.
died. I don't remember if he died.
Cersei died. Tywin died. Jaime died. Joffrey died.
Didn't Stannis also die?
No, Stannis is still alive.
It's just everyone else that died.
Stannis is Jon's boy toy.
Stannis got his own animal to warg into in one of the chapters. I think he got himself a stag, I want to say.
I wasn't there for that.
Okay.
Let's share this meme with the class.
Where's the link for the story again? If I remember correctly, it's hidden from AO3.
I had my first cat dream last night. It was easy to relax into the dream and explore the castle through Darling's eyes. The castle through Darling's
That would be
eyes.
That's Peach's
Fucking
dream.
knew you'd say that, you son of a bitch.
No, Peach. Rand and I also had a quick discussion in DMs. If you were ever reincarnated into Game of Thrones, you'd be reincarnated as Tommen because he likes cats and he's very pious.
There you go, Peach.
Fuck off.
There's
Thank you,
the...
miss.
And he's a bastard.
Nope, that's
Hey, I
not
will have
correct.
you know that my parents were lawfully wedded before they had me.
Oh, and take note of the quote that I've already shared to get an idea of the chapter so far.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
It's AO3, so I'm not doing it.
What the hell?
The future lady in Winterfell.
Oh yeah, wasn't like they were like, oh yeah, Jon is like bi as well or some shit.
Yes, and so is Rob.
What?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Rob is the one they're trying to pair Loras with.
Oh my gosh.
Get some of that impreg in there.
Oh god, I think they do
God.
have impregnant here, don't they? Didn't they mention like there's a way to make men pregnant in this? I think this is
I
the
hope
fic,
to
right?
God it's not one of the tags.
I think that it might. I don't know.
Show
Just
additional
like the-
tags. Canon
Yeah,
typical
so
violence,
it's a-
character
it's a
death, canon
surprise.
incest, discussion slavery, discussion rape, discussion miscarriage, off-screen miscarriage. So no impreg, and it is complete.
Yeah.
John is a special snowflake.
It is
No, I
completed, so there's not going to be surprise impreg, hopefully.
Or it's just not, in the
They haven't
tags.
decided to just surprise us with it.
That's why I said hopefully.
It's
I
one
think
of the seven's blessings.
Was the one where he said like there was a way to do that. I think this was one of those
I'm
fucking
just-
guns.
Probably, but I'm trying to, until it comes up, I'm going to ignore its existence. Attending a handful of small council meetings at John's side, or even in his stead, would make her appearance in the tower commonplace enough that no one would comment on it, and that would allow her to do her work with greater success, right under all of their noses.
Would
Actually,
anyone comment on it anyway?
no, she's literally betrothed to the
Yeah.
Crown Prince.
Who lives in the Tower of the...
Yep.
Actually, attending the small council meeting changed her perspective on many things. Grand Maester Pycelle, Lord Varus, and Lord Baelish, nearly half of the council,
Oh
were
God,
all
is
on
John
John's
a
list.
school shooter?
Why is Varys and Pycelle on his list? He doesn't even know them.
And I don't think he knows anything about Baelish.
He doesn't. He's never met the man at this point.
He doesn't know that Baelish was the one who,
Orchestrated Ned's death.
yeah.
Myth, should I unmute the people who have joined?
No.
Or no?
I mean, Baelish at least has a punchable face.
Sorry, Moscow. Sorry, balls. You're too late.
Yeah,
Punchable face, a slittable
limited
throw,
people.
etc.
We've already got 5 people unmuted. That's my cap for my streams.
Wait a minute. Mandalore is not a person.
Good point.
Yeah, that
It's a
is
concept.
Yeah. Okay, we fixed that.
Come on, unmute him.
I mean, he can
Of course.
unmute himself. He also has Trash Panda.
Oh, okay. Shit.
I have Trash Panda, and yet I can't. Wait, no, I have a. No.
So what you're
Unmute
saying is you want to be
too.
muted.
You do not have
No, I have
Trash
Cult
Panda,
of Trash.
Smurf.
Yeah, I have Cult of Trash.
The only people that get Trash Panda are those that I give it to.
You should not trust me with power.
I mean, he
Give me-
shouldn't trust Peach either, but...
Peach does his own
Yeah, well-
readings every now and then, so...
Peach
Yes, I
doesn't
do.
shit post to antagonize people like me, though, man.
Still confused over why
Yeah.
these 3 are on John's list, but moving on.
He's gonna kill him.
When did he get a list?
From
I
Did
don't
they show the
know.
entire list?
I don't
Did
know.
they show the entire list?
Look, man,
I don't
Radiant
know.
Arabian Nights probably gave him the list, okay?
In that case, it contains
Alright,
every one of
let's
the...
list.
Radiant
Provided
Arabian
by the
Nights,
god of
father.
lists. I mean, goddess of lists, and it's a woman.
I just figured
Yeah,
out
this
one of
is
the people that
first
John will
time that
sleep
a
with.
list- This is the first time that a list is mentioned.
John's gonna
So-
sleep with Oberyn.
Yes,
I mean,
probably.
why not?
I mean,
It
it's
sounds
Oberyn
to
we're talking
me.
about.
If John bats for both teams and Oberyn bats for both teams, why shouldn't they?
They're gonna get along great.
It kind of sounds to
and
me
like-
like you don't like when 2 guys bone each other.
And
Mandalore.
like,
Would
So
Oberyn
apparently-
feel better?
Get over it.
apparently,
Would
Alright.
Oberyn?
John
would
and
Oberyn
Marjorie
feel
are
better
in an
about it?
open relationship anyway.
I wonder
So-
if Oberyn would feel better if he realized he fucked Rhaegar's son.
I don't know.
Yeah, would he
Likely.
feel better or worse?
I would say yes to both.
How would he feel both better and worse?
Because he had some
Well, he
goddamn
fucked
good
Rhaegar's son, but
sex.
on the other hand, he fucked Rhaegar's son.
There you go.
Or, alternatively, he fucked Rhaegar's son, but at the same time he fucked Lyanna's son.
There you go.
Okay, there we are.
More like you didn't get a fucker corpse.
You had a bit of an echo there, man.
What happened?
Nothing. The Grand Maester she was not worried about. Jon said he had a plan for that, and she trusted him that it would be successful. He may now dress in stags, but her Jon was a direwolf through and through.
With all this talk about lists and plans, I feel like I can just hear pumped up kicks playing faintly in the distance.
Hey, don't forget, it'll be in Old English because it's Game of Thrones.
And direwolves knew how to take down their prey. It was thrilling, actually, to be more than just another rose. She was a direwolf too. Or she would be soon
God, that's
enough.
so cringe.
And she was
Oh
hunting
God, that's so cringe.
and she was hunting in Jon's pack. A pack which, unless she was completely mistaken, included the Hand of the King, Lord Tyrion Lannister, and the Master of Ships, Lord Stannis Baratheon. And they, Jon at least, also had the absolute support and faith of King Robert. It was likely just a transfer of King Robert's trust in Jon's biological father, Ned Stark, but Jon still had it, and was actually worthy of the king's trust, so he was not going to lose it anywhen soon. Marjorie would make sure of it. "What news of my fool brother Renly?" King Robert demanded the moment the meeting was in session. Marjorie forced herself to listen respectfully as Lord Varys simpered his way through less than half of the information her grandmother had provided her, and she had in turn provided to Jon. Information her grandmother had provided her over a moon past. Varys had to be buying Renly time to build his forces. But why, she could not imagine. She could not see his angle. What could possibly be better for both the realm and the crown than peace between the various lords of House Baratheon? Unless he wanted to cause hundreds or perhaps thousands of Westerosi deaths in a civil war, which, again, would not be good for the realm. "With all due respect, Lord Varys," Jon cut in, "perhaps you need more little birds, but what I've been told." And Jon proceeded to provide the full information her grandmother had given her, but he framed it in a way that was inflammatory. But what is the information? What is the information?
You're not ready for it.
Okay. He decided to provide it, okay? He provided the information. You don't need to know what it is. It's like Pulp Fiction. You don't know what's in the box. Or, the suitcase.
Yes, okay. The information is the Pulp Fiction suitcase. Got it. She knew from
You don't know when Sam Jackson is gonna show up, okay?
I mean, obviously it'll be when we least expect it.
Where's my goddamn White Walkers?
No, Sam Jackson's gonna be the Night King.
Oh yeah, you're right. So... Get the fuck up, y'all stupid dead bodies.
Where's my ice dragons? She knew from their conversations that John hated only one thing more than either slavers or rapists, and that was oath-breakers. He hated rapists and slavers so much, she knew he would raise the Iron Islands if he could, because of the sheer pride they took in such behaviors. And now he hated Renly, who he had to see as an oath-breaker, because he had sworn his loyalty to the crown, and his brother, then revoked it the moment the king went away he did not like. Worse than the Iron Islanders. Here is what is going to happen, King Robert said. I am hereby stripping Renly of all lands and titles for this civil war he is doing his damnedest to conjure. Stannis, you are now lord of our family's ancestral home, Storm's End, and lord paramount of the Stormlands. Congratulations. Of course, it took Robert having literally no other options to name Stannis as Lord Paramount of the Stormlands. God, why does Robert hate Stannis so much? Wait, do we ever get the why on that in canon?
Yes.
Wasn't it because he allowed the Targaryens to escape?
Yeah, he failed to get a hold of Daenerys and Viserys.
I guess I
It
can.
pissed him off.
I guess I can understand Robert thinking that due to his mindset at the time.
Yeah. And he and Stannis did not get along anyway because their personalities were pretty much polar opposite.
Yeah. Lord Stannis inclined his head in thanks, and Jon nodded to him in a way that she thought meant he was beaming on the inside. Jon, you are now the Prince of Dragonstone. Jon accepted that easily. It is the traditional role of the heir to the throne. I forget. Is R plus L equals J a thing in this fic or not?
I have no fucking clue.
Has it even been stated?
I think so, right?
I'm pretty sure like the 7 would have revealed it if it was in his dream sequence.
It's been so long since I read this fucking trash pile.
Yeah, like
Let me take a look.
it's been like Breaking the Faith was the first thing we did YouTube for.
Yeah, well, they do say that Rhaegar is his father and his mother is Lyanna, so yes, I do think that R plus L equals J, if that's what you're talking about.
Okay, yes. So Jon just like Robert just unintentionally undoing all of his hard work. It's like death to all the dragon spawn and Rhaegar's legacy. Casually makes Rhaegar's son his heir and makes him Prince of Dragonstone. Just so. Now I need a master of laws. King Robert let them go around the table, naming names. Lord Baelish immediately threw in for Janos Slynt, captain of the city guard, and another man Jon despised with a passion. This one, it makes sense. Like, he's one of the men that was at the wall with Jon. And didn't Jon execute
that Jon
him
already executed?
Yeah, Jon executed him for
executed him
insubordination. Yeah. So yeah, it's finally something that makes sense. Although maybe not with a passion. Because it was just insubordination. It's not like Janos played a part in his betrayal.
But him and Alliser did make his life a bit of a hell before he was elected as Lord Commander.
True enough. Grand Maester Pycelle argued for Kevin Lannister, proving himself to be Tywin's man even after the Old Lion's death. Lord Varys advocated for a neutral party. Perhaps a Nessosi Justiciar would be wise. which made her think mayhap he was in favor of Westerosi deaths to increase Essosi power over the continent. She could not see what he would
Oh
get out of
no,
such.
no. John's gonna recommend Marjorie, isn't he?
But he was rumored to have come from Essos himself. You know, you might not be wrong. What is this meme Cetrus has shared? Brace yourselves.
Not really my best work.
Winter is coming. I'm already here, bitch. That's it. I have had it with these motherfucking White Walkers in this motherfucking North. Nuke. Not your best work, but not your worst either. There could be players pushing for entrance into the Westerosi Game of Thrones that only he yet knew in Essos. I would nominate Lord Stannis as Master of Laws, John answered, when the king asked him specifically. At least it's not, Marjorie. But then I would be short a Master of Ships, King Robert countered. Wyman Manderley would make a fine Master of Ships, John returned. A good, honest Northman. He runs Westeros' third largest port, and as of last moon...
This actually aren't bad recommendations.
Yeah, they're not. Stannis makes a much better Master of Laws than he does Master of Ships. And Wyman is a great choice for Master of Ships. Any of the lords of port towns are good choices for Master of Ships.
Besides the Ironborn.
And Ironborn are not even...
Should be all killed.
Yeah, they're not even up for consideration. And John agrees that they should all be killed.
They're literally pirates.
And not the fun kind.
Yo ho.
There's no One Piece here.
No One Piece.
As
no
far as you
Jack
know.
Sparrow.
He runs Westeros' third largest port, and as of last moon, he holds the largest fleet on this side of the narrow sea, outside of the Crown's own fleet. His development projects took his fleet beyond House Redwine at that time, and he expects his White Harbor to surpass Old Town as a port within the next 5 years. Good on him, King Robert chuckled. And he has 2 sons to continue his work, so he can focus on Crown's interests entirely. We're moving into Rorschach's speech, I see.
Yes. I love Rorschach's speech, dude. Just
An interesting proposal, the king conceded. Any others? I would name Ned Stark. If I was not certain the man would not take it, Lord Tyrion offered. Why even mention it then? Wait. Tyrion on track to become the most useless hand of king in history. What is Ever Peach's meme?
I unfortunately can't see it, but it's the fucking Harry names from King of Magic. Shit,
Yes.
so fucking, there's so many that it just gets fucking cut off.
There's so many that it just looks like white lines. It's not even text.
I'm trying to see if there's a way to fucking increase the text size.
Jon Snow, heir to the Iron Throne, Prince of Dragonstone. I'm not
Earl
reading.
James, George,
I-
Arthur, Philip, Albert, Richard, Loki.
I'm not reading all of that. I did it way
God.
too often.
It wasn't even technically part of the fic.
The fic that you never finished, did you?
We finished
No,
it.
I finished it. It's just
you
incomplete.
said finish.
It's just
Myth,
incomplete.
what does it cost?
Randy and never finished it.
Yeah, Rand never finished it. I did.
She hasn't finished it yet.
I think she forgot.
And that scares me.
Nobody remind her.
Fran just kind of forgot
makes
that
me
she
To
finished
my
it.
Facebook messengers.
Oh, look, Radiant Arabian Nights.
You've made me curious about when the last time she touched it was.
Like years
The way
ago.
you said that makes me think of something completely different.
Oh God. You remember the
Probably,
Twilight
like,
fic?
5 years ago.
You know the
Wait,
the
we made a new
Twilight.
version of it.
Yes.
Okay, drop this. We have to go read that new one. Wasn't that the one where it's like Bella,
This
like
is
was sniffing Edward in the forest or some shit, like leaving her like pissing all over the school so that like all everyone would smell was
Yes.
her. That's
Yes.
the same fic, right?
Yeah.
Ah, dude, that's a fucking masterclass of a fic. Okay, let's read it.
No, we're not reading it.
Oh.
But
No,
the
please.
reason I am
Please
here.
Question: does your OCD make you finish fics that get updated after you finish them?
Yes. King of Magic was last updated 4 years and 10 months ago.
So all I gotta do is remind her.
Please don't. Don't.
But as we already saw, she was active 5 days ago.
Also,
So-
like, can you imagine that message? Look, we like to make fun of your fics, so if you could just finish this one off for us.
That would not be my message.
Yeah, no, before we even start on Forgiveness New version, we have to finish Forgiveness the original. Which, I'm deciding right now, that will be next week's reading.
I think my message would be along the lines of, I have a friend named Myth that loves this fan fiction. He would
What's a
appreciate it
friend?
ever so much if you would update.
What's wrong with your
What-
microphone,
what's
dude?
a friend? Can you eat it?
I think so.
Yes, you can. Especially if your name's Jeffrey Dahmer.
Anyway, back to this.
Is the microphone better?
Yes.
At the
Well, I
moment,
can hear
yes.
your accent a lot better as well. You're sounding more and more like Smurf.
You'll need
Why-
to be
Ass.
exposed to more Kentuckians.
Why do we need Lord Eddard? Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard asked, waving a hand at John. We have a Stark Lord here at our disposal. I've got to say it in full every time Selmy comes up now.
Lord Commander Barristan Selmy
Yes,
of
yes,
the
you do.
King's Guard.
Yes. Like, I can't just say Sir Barristan or Barristan the Bold or Lord Commander Barristan. It has to be Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard. And if ever they bring in his title, the Bold, it will be tacked on.
Myth, one of you victims just joined for like 5 seconds. He had the yellow color and call of shit posting.
Here, here,
That
Lord
does
Stannis
focus.
agreed. My lords, John tried to demur. I have plenty to do first as the heir to the Seven Kingdoms, and now as Prince of Dragonstone. Surely an older, more experienced lord like Lord Stannis would. No, they have the right of it, King Robert interrupted him. You were raised as a Stark lord, and, as I am sure the Mad King would tell you, if he were alive to do it, that no one does justice like a Stark. Congratulations, John. You are my master of laws.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Tack
Great.
another one onto his many titles. He's building his way up to King of Magic. King Robert grinned when John closed his eyes. Marjorie was amused by the exchange. The position of Master of Laws would give John all the rights and powers he needed to meet his goals regarding the corruption surrounding the crown. Him acting like he did not want the position had basically ensured he would get it. It was a brilliant early maneuver for John to make in the Game of Thrones.
That's surely a brilliant political maneuver.
If that was his intent, it literally only worked because it was Robert. Any other king would have been just moved on when he said to pick someone else. And heck, once he was nominated, he could have just accepted it, and Robert still would have been happy.
Mm-hmm.
Write all the letters for me to sign them, King Robert told Tyrion as he stood. I want John on Stannis' boat when he leaves. Get this Renly's rebellion cut off before my brother gets off his arse and does something he will not live to regret. Anything else? Yes, my king, Lord Baelish leaned forward. I will be taking my leave of King's Landing. I have business in the Vale. What business? King Robert asked in a tone that screamed of warning to Marjorie. Baelish did not seem to catch the warning as he puffed up his chest with pride. My wedding.
Oh no.
Jon Arryn is only recently dead. And Baelish is already publicly moving in on Lysa.
No.
Baelish is more politically savvy than this.
Let me grab some ramen while you guys deal with this revelation.
Genius level maneuvering, you have to admit.
Without even doing anything, John has defeated Baelish.
Yep.
Indeed. He's just that good.
Wait, I mean,
Childlike.
this is better than having, like, the three-eyed raven to maneuver him. Marjorie felt her eyebrows launch to the ceiling. That's an impressive feat. Did they grow sentience?
Yes, absolutely.
Lord Baelish, getting married? He did not seem the type. Unless he planned to make a widower of himself in short order, and make off with the poor woman's worldly possessions. Who is the lucky lady? King Robert asked with a lecherous grin. The Lady Arryn, my king. That brought everything to a halt. Marjorie knew Littlefinger was a greedy, grasping man, but surely he was not trying to make himself Lord Paramount of the Vale and Warden of the East. Though, if Lady Arryn and her son Sweet Robin were to die soon, being married to her would leave him conveniently holding everything together, as it were, so perhaps he was. Even if Baelish were to marry Lysa, and then Lysa and Sweet Robin died, that would not put him in the position of Lordship of the Vale. That would make Harry the heir the Lord of the Vale.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Harding.
And Baelish would know this. Marjorie would even know this.
Everyone that knows
everyone.
kingdoms.
Like, Maybe John's political maneuvering is genius if this is his competition. Or maybe, fan theory time. The gods are interfering with people's minds and making them dumber than they're supposed to be.
You're right.
In order to facilitate John's rise.
It would explain how there's been no technological progress for like 6,000 years.
Oh no. That ignore.
There has
that.
been.
We're just talking about interference since John was sent back in time.
Okay.
There has been technological advancement, by the way, in Planetos.
In what way?
What do you mean in what way? The armor has advanced since Aegon's time. Weapons.
By the way, your mic is doing the thing again.
Yeah.
I did not mean to send that one to you, man. It was supposed to be another one. Sorry.
If the king did not put a stop to it, she would have to share her concerns with John post-haste. Though knowing him, he would ask her for her opinions of it regardless. Lord Aaron has not even been dead a year, King Robert objected with a frown. His widow cannot marry yet. It is not proper for a lady of her status to remarry without an adequate mourning period. Are you forbidding our union, your grace? Marjorie's heart clenched at the danger promised in Littlefinger's silken tone. No, of course not. I'm saying it must wait a year and a day. Marry who you will, but if that person is Lady Arryn, you must wait until Lady Arryn has had an appropriate mourning period for her first husband. King Robert's demand made sense to Marjorie. Makes more sense to just forbid Baelish marrying above his station. Because he's very much trying to marry above his station. She's currently the lady the Lady Paramount of the Vale, and she's the daughter of the Lord Paramount of the Riverlands. Baelish is a mere minor lord from the Fingers. A proper mourning period showed respect to the late Lord Arryn. Without such, his vassals would feel pressed to rebel against the new Lord of the Vale, or rather, the new Regent of the Vale, as Peter Baelish was not in their line of succession as long as Lord Arryn's son still survived. Such a rebellion would break the king's peace and could bring about the end of the House of Arryn with even just a single unlucky blow. Again, completely ignoring the existence of Harry the heir. Waiting a few more months was a reasonable precaution. And send heir Arryn to Stannis, King Robert continues. I know Lady Arryn does not want it, but my house owes her son a proper fostering, and it would do my future warden good to see more of Westeros before he takes his post. King Robert then left the meeting. He was quickly followed by the mutually sniping pair of Varys and Baelish. The Grand Maester left too, leaving Marjorie alone with Jon and his allies. Welcome to the small council, Prince Jon, Lord Tyrion offered with a smirk. You will do well, Lord Stannis buffeted her betrothed on the shoulder. Anything the hand of the king can do for the Master of Laws, please do not hesitate to tell me. Lord Tyrion dropped out of his seat at the table and moved to leave. Actually, Lord Tyrion, Jon stopped him. Now that you mention it. She had never been to a formal audience before. She had not felt like an uncultured bumpkin before she came to King's Landing, but now she was experiencing so many new things. things she had never imagined herself doing, that she was starting to think she might have been. I'm sorry. In what world is Marjorie close to an uncultured bumpkin?
Look, she's a farmer, okay? That's what they all talk about in the series. They got lots of farmland.
Are you okay, Smurf?
Smurf is a robot.
What?
You've been making like robotic sounds for a bit.
I've been muted the whole time. What are you talking about?
No, you haven't. Your name keeps lighting up, and I keep hearing like.
Yep. You are. Do you like getting zapped? Is that what you're doing?
That was actually a pretty good impression, to be honest.
It really was.
The real one was just a little bit staticky.
She was standing on one of the raised walkways around the edges of the throne room proper, watching. Lord Tyrion was on the king's left as Hand of the King, while they listened to petitions from around the realm. Jon was on the king's right, offering input from the law's perspective as Master of Laws, and from his own perspective as heir to the realm. The audience period was almost over, but the chamber was still full when Lord Commander Selmy and Sir Aerys Oakheart of the King's Guard burst into the throne room. I'm sorry, Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard and Sir Aerys Oakheart of the King's Guard burst into the throne room, dragging a nude Grand Maester and a scantily shrouded whore. The girl burst into tears and collapsed on the ground. What? They are publicly doing. They are publicly doing. Yeah, they are publicly doing what Tyrion did in private to Pycelle. The girl burst into tears and collapsed on the ground when Sir Aerys Oakheart of the King's Guard presented her to the throne. My lady, Jon raced down the steps and wrapped the woman in his own cloak, hiding her naked form from the watching eyes. Do not fear. No one here will harm you. But she sniffled, a whore? Jon shushed her. What's your complaint now?
Never mind.
Jon shushed her and provided her a handkerchief, the perfect picture of compassion and princely gallantry, fit to give the memory of even Rhaegar Targaryen a challenge for its dragons. What is your name, little one? Shayna, milord. Shayna, I am Jon. Shayna nodded, blotting her eyes. I know, my prince. Who is the proprietor or her establishment? Lord Baelish. Jon gestured one of the Stark guards that had come south with him over to them. This is Riller Yu. He is a Northman with daughters your age. The scared, but no longer crying, girl nodded. Riller, take her to the servants' quarters and see her dressed and on her way. Allow no one to harry her while she is in our care. Yes, my prince. You have had a true fright. Marjorie saw Jon press a gold dragon into Shayna's hand. It was probably enough to keep a girl of her status's attentions for a week or more. Marjorie is underestimating the value of a gold dragon here.
Very much so.
Which is not super weird because, like, probably never gets to handle money.
Yeah,
It's
it
like-
is because of what Marjorie did as a kid.
Yeah, she visited orphanages and gave them money.
No,
Well, she did
Oh,
that
no.
once she got to King's Landing, at least. But if I'm remembering correctly, isn't a year's wages in Westeros 3 gold dragons?
I thought it was 2.
Even worse. So, yeah, like, a gold dragon would satisfy her for months, not a week or more. Take the rest of the night to yourself to recover. Yes, my prince, thank you. Off with you. Jon stood and returned to the dais. After a round of significant looks, King Robert waved for Jon to get on with it. Lord Baelish, Jon called. The small, rat-looking man pushed his way out of the crowd to stand before Jon, but clearly separate from the Grand Maester and his 2 guards. My prince. Lord Baelish, how long have you been providing the Grand Maester with the service he was enjoying this afternoon? Some 10 years or more, your grace. He was one of the reasons I established such a business. Jon nodded. And in those 10 years, how often has he made use of your services? Twice a moon, my prince. Jon turned to Grand Maester Pycelle. You have broken your vows as a Maester of the Citadel repeatedly for over a decade. More importantly, you have broken your vows to the crown as Grand Maester of the realm repeatedly for over a decade. I was not alone in it, Pycelle objected. Had Littlefinger not provided the service? It is not Lord Baelish's job to keep your vows for you, Grand Maester Pycelle. Jon cut him off. Your vows are your duty to keep. That you betrayed your vows to the crown is treason, and for that you face a choice. The wall or your head. The Grand Maester of the 7 Kingdoms' jaw worked uselessly for several moments before he spoke. The wall. Very well, Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard. Have him dressed and placed in chains. There is a ship coming in from White Harbor today that will be returning a squad of Lord Stark's men to the north. I want him on it with them within an hour of its arrival. My prince, Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard, and Sir Aerys Oakheart of the King's Guard both bowed to the men on the dais before turning and hustling Pycelle out of the room. All right, show is over, King Robert dismissed the court then. And I need a fucking drink. Lannister, with me. Jon left the dais and joined Marjorie as soon as the king and his hand were gone. Come, he said to her and their attendant ladies and sirs. We have guests arriving in the harbor. She allowed herself to be tucked into the shelter of Jon's arm. She could feel his body trembling in excitement. Though his face remained clear and customarily solemn, she could not blame him. She was excited, too. Their first true blow at the corruption that surrounded the throne that would soon be theirs had landed well and true. Even now, men she and Jon trusted were looting the Grand Maester's quarters for evidence they could use to strike further blows. It was a heady thing, this moment of success, and she was glad to share it with Jon. Marjorie smiled up at him, and he gave her a hearty kiss on her forehead. She wanted to taste of his lips, but she respected the respect and appearance of propriety he wanted to give her. Still, their wedding would be a relief. Where's my horny honey clip when I need it?
I mean,
Are you a tiny
the
horny
dialogue
honey?
in this could fucking dry up the Atlantic, so I imagine that it's hiding.
Oh god.
I mean, it's worse than prequel Star Wars dialogue.
I mean, let's be honest. Prequel Star Wars had some fucking bangers. This just has everything falling flat. Like,
Yeah, I mean, who likes sand?
exactly.
I don't like
This is
sand.
worse than Kenobi dialogue.
Yeah, like prequel Star
You like
Wars.
Kenobi.
You know, if you
Kenobi
look into the
sucked.
scene, at least you can see. Oh yeah, they were making a point about Anakin not growing up in privilege. This, they have no fucking point. It just sucks.
After that, she could kiss him as much as she wanted, wherever she wanted, and he her.
Oh, shit. Wow.
Again, this shows a gross misunderstanding of Westerosi culture. Even married lords and ladies were reserved in their public affection.
Most
Not
of
to
them.
mention their bathing habits weren't the greatest, so they probably wouldn't want to be kissing everyone everywhere else.
That is a horrible misconception.
Which one?
In what regard?
That medieval people were dirty.
Westerosi
I mean,
medieval people.
Compare,
Not medieval
And
people.
that's still a misconception because the lords and ladies weren't.
compared to our modern standards, they would have been. But it's not to the extent that popular media would have you think.
Yeah, that's fair.
And their teeth were generally good.
Again, not to the levels that we've come to
Um,
expect, probably.
Yeah, you'd be wrong. Because they didn't really get a lot of cavities and stuff because they weren't.
True, they wouldn't have
Eating.
been eating as much junk food.
Sugary thing.
Is there a surprise on this ship? She asked him softly. I am sure there are many surprises on any ship in the harbor, should we care to look. Marjorie gave his ribs a poke for his evasion. I meant for my brother. John winked at her rather than answer. She took that as a yes. They mounted up for the ride down River Row to the harbor. Once again, she rode on Swift's back in front of John, and felt no shame for it. She was good a horse person as he was, and she had proven it, but the combination of riding a unicorn and letting John take care of everything was never going to lose its novelty. I forgot John brought a unicorn home with him.
Oh, fuck off. I forgot as well. Doesn't he have the centaurs as well? And also, remember, this isn't the, like, fucking grimdark fucking, Game of Thrones unicorn that's just a fucking goat. It's a honest-to-God fancy unicorn.
Yeah, it's an actual fantasy unicorns. I don't think he brought any centaurs home with him, but they did ride on the centaurs to get to where the other animals were hidden. The crowd loved John.
Of course they do. He's a Gary Stew.
It was amusing to see, considering how much they hated King Robert. But several shopkeepers shouted greetings at him as they passed. I'm sorry.
I swear, Don is a fucking tsundere in this fic. Like, you can't decide scene to scene whether he hates King Robert or he loves King Robert. It's so fucking stupid.
This isn't John. This is Marjorie's point of view.
Oh.
I like how it dawned on him. Yeah, this is Marjorie's point of view. Yeah.
Didn't the small folk love King Robert, though?
Yeah, because he threw regular tourneys and feasts. Right.
Obviously, this person has never heard the adage of Redmond circuses.
And John greeted them back by name with a wave. Oh God. John's so cool, guys. He knows all of the small folk by name. Sometimes he paused their procession long enough for a brief conversation about their health, or their children, or some other troubles. He did not know them all personally. He had only been in the capital a moon or two, but she figured he would know them all soon, and she vowed to do so as well. They dismounted when they reached a pier with a ship bowsprit carved in the form of a merman clutching a trident. Never come across this word before.
Bowsprit? Oh, bowsprit.
Oh, bowsprit. Bowsprit is apparently an acceptable pronunciation of it.
No, I mean, if you say it's the ship's bow, you might as well say bowsprit.
Yeah. I'd never heard that term before, though.
What's
It is a
used
real
for?
word I've heard before.
Yeah, I mean, I literally Googled it.
Like, what's a spar, though?
A spar is like a beam of wood.
Oh, okay. Cool.
If it's talking about the bowsprit, it's probably talking about that single spar of wood that sticks out the front. You know how a lot of them have like a
But that's the thing. It's still making a mistake. Because it's supposed to be carved in the form of a merman clutching a trident. It's describing the figurehead of the ship.
fair enough.
That's not going to be the bowsprit. Like,
Maybe it's carved. The trident is the bowsprit.
possible, but I don't know. Moving on.
That'd be a
I
stupid
think
thing
I'm
to
pretty
do.
sure that thing's there for like leverage for ropes or something.
It is.
Justin, John greeted. The young man, checking one of the ship's ropes, looked up immediately. John! They clasped hands, and then Justin seemed to remember himself. I mean, my prince. Justin Snow, meet Lady Marjorie Tyrell, my betrothed. John introduced cheerfully. My lady, may I introduce Captain Justin Snow, the only son of Sir Wendell Manderley, grandson of Lord Wyman Manderley, and one of the best ship captains the North can boast.
I'm assuming this is original character,
I am assuming so as well.
because I don't remember Justin Snow from the books.
Nope, not an actual character. Captain Snow offered her his hand, and Marjorie knew better than to reject it. Her mother would have, she knew, but John had been born a Snow, and rejecting one of his brothers would not be good for their burgeoning relationship. It is a pleasure to meet you. The pleasure is mine, Captain Justin countered. By the gods, John, what did you do to deserve such a lovely lady? Perhaps I was a martyr in a past life, John rolled his eyes. I understand you have a delivery for me.
Oh, it's so fucking cringe.
That's the point. I'm glad you're... I am pleased with your suffering.
Fuck you.
Do I?
Jeez,
Justin grinned. John shot him an impatient look. You look more like your birth father every time I see you. Hold on to your breeches. I'll fetch this delivery of yours. Captain Justin stomped up a nearby plank onto his boat. I'm sorry, it is a ship. Within moments, not one woman, but two people with tully red hair and stark gray eyes appeared at the top of the ramp. John grinned up at them as the two people descended arm in arm, followed by a pair of direwolves. "My Lady Marjorie," John said very formally, "may I introduce you to my brother, Sir Rob Stark, heir of... When did Rob get knighted?"
That's what I was just about to ask.
"Sir Rob
The
Stark,
North.
heir of Winterfell, future Warden of the North, and our sweet sister, the Lady Sansa. Sir Rob, Lady Sansa, please meet my betrothed, Lady Marjorie Tyrell,
Why?
and her
Wait,
brother,
were
Sir
you asking
Loras
about why
Tyrell of
Sansa has a
Highgarden."
question mark next to her name?
He's asking if he may introduce them, so it is a It could be a question. It's not typically a question, but it could be.
I was wondering if he was questioning Sansa's ladyhood.
No.
It's like,
There's
here's my
so
horror with
many
Mr.
things.
Sansa. How's it going, slut?
All three siblings kept a very southern dignity as bows and curtsies were exchanged by both sides.
That old southern dignity.
It was rather puzzling after John's informal greetings with the ship's captain. Then Lady Sansa giggled, and the brothers threw themselves at each other in tight, back-thumping hugs, shouting joyfully at each other as three direwolves comported themselves like puppies around their bonded partners.
Can I just break in here? Didn't the North attack first in the War of the Five Kings? So wouldn't it literally be the War of Northern Aggression?
No.
Damn.
Because Tywin sent out the mountain to attack the Riverlands first.
That was technically the opening blow of the War of the Seven Kings.
Dress.
Actually, technically the opening blow was Ned's execution.
Ned losing his head.
If only Jaime wasn't such a fucking idiot, Tywin would have won because Ned would have went to take down the mountain himself.
No, he wouldn't have.
Yes, he would have. The man that passes the sentence must swing the sword. That was Tywin's entire strategy.
No, Ned had literally already sent a group of men after the mountain and stayed and deliberately stayed in King's Landing.
I'm pretty sure that was after he was injured.
It was after he was injured. True.
Yes, and if he hadn't been injured, he would have went himself.
Also the injury happened before the mountain got sent out.
And Tywin very easily could not have gotten that news because they don't have modern communication.
True.
I mean, don't they have ravens? How fast can the ravens fly?
Not fast enough, apparently.
Laden or unladen?
It's a migratory bird.
Is an African or a European raven?
You guys are great.
John hugged his sister hard enough he pulled her feet right off the ground. John and Sansa are not this close.
Not at all. And Sansa would also be very much aware of her courtesies.
Yeah. And also the last time John saw Sansa, it was the aftermath of the Joffrey incident, and Sansa was hating John at the moment because he took away her golden prince. "You look good," John said. "I find sea air agrees with me," Lady Sansa said loftily, sending all three siblings off into laughter. Father sent you a personal message, Lord Rob said, pulling a small rolled missive out of a hidden sleeve within his vambrace. Did he? John took it and read. Then he choked and read it again. Yes, man.
Didn't Sansa not agree with the sea while on Littlefinger's ship?
I don't remember.
She had a fucking argument with the ocean, channeled her inner Caligula.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Fuck you, ocean.
Wait, I'm gonna be honest here. Sansa's chapters are my least favorite in all of Song of Ice and Fire, so I try to. Forget
absolutely.
I try to forget Sansa chapters.
You just don't succeed.
Not always. What is it?
I'm gonna be honest. After the show, Bran chapters are worse for me.
I'd never really liked Bran chapters either. So. But yeah, after the show, Bran fell even further in my regard. What is it? Marjorie asked. Whatever surprised John that much had to be huge. Sansa, he asked instead of answering, how would you like to be a princess? Oh God.
Oh God, no.
Oh God. No.
What, you think that John C. marry her? You think he'd pull in a little bit of that Wincest?
Sweet home Alabama.
Read on.
She'll be his little princess.
I do, like, literally the answer to this in 2 sentences. Just fucking read on.
I'm sorry, I had to scream into the void for a minute.
It's like the opening line of a pedophile.
What?
It was like the opening line of a pedophile. Hey, how would you like to be a princess?
Yep.
John, she shot Marjorie a confused look. She shook her head. She had no idea what he meant either. Of Dorne, he clarified. Oh, thank God.
Oh God, Sansa would hate it there.
It's still better than what I was thinking. It still doesn't fit, but...
It's still better, yeah. Of course, he has another sister.
Yes. And 3 brothers. Apparently, being male does not stop you from being a lady, so...
I think they're a couple of 100 years behind that development.
Not according to what Marjorie was thinking earlier. She did hope her brother would enjoy being the future Lady of Winterfell.
Fair enough.
There is a good bit of mending to be done there. Lady Catelyn and Seta Mordain have long lauded the strength and beauty of your stitches. Her sewing has no bearing on... Moving on. I give up. Sansa frowned in confusion. Can you do that? Lord Stark has given me leave to arrange marriages as I see best for the rest of his children. John waved the letter in his hand.
What stuff?
Since I did such a good job for Bran. Oh yeah! I forgot. Bran is betrothed to Myrcella and is going to be the next Lord of Casterly Rock.
Tywin would
like hook jumper cables to Tywin's corpse, and he'd power the entirety of Westeros.
Yes.
Wait,
what an image! what?
Well, Marcella's his only grandchild, so one of his 3 grandchildren. Why would he not want her to be married to her?
Also, I don't think he quite likes the Starks, considering like all the.
Why
shit
would he
going on
want
with
a
the dragon.
Stark to be the Lord of Castle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't recall if the agreement would have Bran changing his name to Lannister, but I doubt
That
it.
still wouldn't matter to Tywin.
Yeah, it still wouldn't matter to Tywin, but also I doubt if that the agreement included that. It's literally going to be House Stark of Winterfell and House Stark of Casterly Rock moving forward.
Tywin's rage would literally destroy Westeros if it exploded.
Robb let out a low whistle. Mother must be livid.
Oh god.
He's not wrong there. She would not be pleased with Jon arranging her children's futures at all. Because in her eyes, it would be him living up to every fear she ever had.
That sounds
Ned
like
shouldn't.
a great thing to do if you were him. Like, just to stick it
Ned should not be pleased with this.
It's
On the
Ned's
political
idea.
landscape, this looks horrible.
It's Ned's idea.
That's worse.
It has historical precedence, Marjorie offered, and all 3 siblings turned to her. No matter her earlier flights of fancy, all 3 of them were, truly, dire wolves, and their combined regard was unnerving. Marjorie refused to be cowed and continued. Marrying members of the royal family off to lords around the realm is a peaceful method the crown has used to strengthen or settle changes the crown has made with their lords.
I'm sorry. I'm just imagining Sansa having any kind of gaze that could scare anything.
I'm ignoring that part and focusing in on House Stark is not part of the royal family.
They are now.
It is now.
Jon was adopted into House Baratheon, and that's how he is heir.
And now House Stark has been adopted.
Yep. By association. How do you feel about this?
Like, holy fucking shit. Like, Robert's even more of a dumbass. He's literally letting the Starks take over the entirety of the crown. Someone has to stop them. This is like line theft almost.
Like, I mean, at this rate, the Starks are taking over the 7 kingdoms.
Yeah.
Like, all
Line
of them.
theft. You have been reading too much Harry Potter fan fiction.
No, I actually was thinking about fucking Game of Thrones fanfic.
Voldemort has committed too much line theft.
It's like...
Yeah, I was thinking that Deeds Not Words, the Game of Thrones fanfic.
It's like, Starks already have the North, obviously. They've got the Westerlands through Bran. They've got the crown. They've got the Crown Lands through Jon. They're about to have Dorne, apparently.
And they'll have connections to the Reach just through Loras.
They had the Reach as well through both Jon and Robb.
Hell, Rickon's gonna marry Shireen.
Probably for the Stormlands. And then that they're just gonna destroy the Iron Islands, obviously. The Riverlands don't matter. Which leaves Arya
The Riverlands don't matter.
which leaves Arya marrying Harry the Heir for the Vale. No, it's gonna come out that Sweet Robin is Littlefinger's bastard and therefore not heir to the Vale.
The Starks have just enough children to secure the set.
Yeah, the Riverlands will just be subsumed by the Crown Lands. They're
And
just
Jon
not...
will, of course, marry Dany, along with Marjorie.
Of course. Like,
to secure himself that nice, sweet dragon ride.
It's not the dragon he wants to ride.
I worded that way for a reason.
I mean, it could be arguing that he's securing Danny that nice, sweet dragon ride.
Home Alabama.
I mean, incest is one of the tags.
You mean Wincest? Yeah?
Are you my mom?
Oh God!
You my mommy.
We need to get back to Rising Sun at some point.
We eventually will.
Is that the fucking imperialistic Japanese Jon
Yeah,
Snow?
Yep.
Yes.
That's the one we
With
did
the
in Zero
glorious
streams.
Nippon steel.
Yes.
Yes.
With the land of the rising sun is actually in the west.
Glorious Nippon dragon steel that is much better than Valyrian
Dragon
steel.
steel. Glorious Nippon steel.
In the Godzilla dragon.
Yes.
I
You mean Gojira?
I think that was the first fic I actually was like joined the stream for.
God, what a
I
fic.
mean, that's... Rising Sun was our primary thing with Zero. So... We took a break for Eye of Argon.
That was fun.
Okay, moving back
Roll.
to the chapter.
Got my hopes up today, thinking it had updated. I was like, is it alive?
Is what alive? Oh yeah,
Rising Sun.
Ryal's post earlier.
I was morbidly happy. I was like, is it alive?
Honestly, same. It is an option the Baratheons do not actually have, since none of them are unmarried other than the Lady Shireen, who is now the heiress of Storm's End. As such, her hand cannot be easily given away. It is only logical to extend the definition of royal family to include all of Prince John's siblings for good of the king's peace. Sadria Wolf is trying to answer our concerns.
The Starks are now in the line of succession.
Well, fuck her. We have more concerns anyway.
John and Rob exchanged a look that was clearly significant, even if she did not understand it. So, you can do it. Sansa brought them back to the point. I will work on it. If it is something
He wants
you
to bet that they can marry Sansa off to one of the sand bastards. The sand snakes, I think they were called.
Marry her off to Oberyn Sand.
No, they're gonna marry her to Oberyn.
Oh God.
I heard that it's Ogren for a second. I was like, damn. That would actually be better, but
honestly, I would find grotesque pleasure in that scenario happening as a punishment for a season 8 fix-it fic. Like if John traveled from season 8 back to the beginning and arranged for Sansa to marry Oberyn as punishment for her breaking her oath before the weirwood tree.
She would consider that punishment.
Well, yes, because there's no way Oberyn's gonna stop sleeping around.
No.
You just bring her in on it.
Probably not, because Oberyn, while yes, likes to spread his seed, he's not one to rape anyone, and trying to do that with Sansa would make it rape.
I don't know. I feel he could seduce her.
Oh, seduce her, yes. But it would take a lot of work to make her willingly join a threesome. And by that point, it's
what a conversation.
And by that point, it's no longer a punishment.
What a freaking conversation.
Right? I will work on it, if it is something you want it. I am not going to marry you off to someone you would not want in 1,000 years. The king's peace be damned. Well, there goes.
Wow.
There go
what a
those
horrible
dreams.
fucking prince.
There go those dreams of Sansa being forced to marry Oberyn.
I mean, not really. This author could easily have her see him and be completely charmed.
True. But at that point, it's no longer satisfying.
And Jon is a horrible prince. The king's peace is very fucking important.
And yes, I realize how toxic my hatred of Sansa is at this point. I don't
Just
care.
don't give a shit.
I don't care. Jon, Sansa chided. Of course I want it. As long as you do not match me with some petulant fool like that wretched Joffrey Hill Mother had picked. Okay, where did this complete 180 come from?
He had time to think. Come on, Myth. It's been a few months. She had time to get over it.
Okay, moving on. Moving on. I think moving on is going to become my new catchphrase. I say it so often.
How are those cracks in your soul doing?
Let's get back to the fic.
Never fear, sweet sister. Oh god, that's Viserys vibes there.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet, succulent sister.
I would let them all fuck you, all 40,000 and their horses too.
I would kill such a man myself before I allowed you to wed him. Then I am pleased with both your choice and your protection, my prince.
You don't know his choice yet.
That pause. That pause makes me think she's aiming for a loftier princess position.
Wait. If she married Oberyn, she would be a princess of Dorne.
Yeah.
Would marrying any of Dorne's kids actually make her a princess of Dorne?
Not immediately. It would, like, if Doran goes with the plan of making Quentyn the Prince of Dorne, then her marrying Quentyn would make her a princess of Dorne. I think. It would be princess consort. I think.
Yes, but they don't know about that plan.
I know that. But Sadria Wolf does, and she's obviously ignoring logic.
Logic? In this?
What's that? Tasty?
Holy crap. Oh, yeah.
Like, Sansa quickly proved to be a good friend and teacher of the old ways for Marjorie. No! No!
Sansa knows all the old ways.
If you wanted to bring someone south to teach Marjorie the old ways, bring Arya. She's the one who pays
Sansa
attention
knows them all.
And yes, they are making fucking Rob the pairing with Loras. What the hell?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
did Rob ever show even a fucking inkling
Peach.
of playing for the other team?
Peach. That was established when she mentioned him becoming the princess,
I thought she was
Lady
talking
of
about
Winterfell.
John there, dude. Like I thought she was talking about John making like lore as to the Lady of Winterfell, dude. I didn't realize it was Rob.
John is already the Prince of the Seven Kingdoms. He's grown beyond Winterfell.
He's also the Prince of Dragonstone.
Yeah, I mean, that comes hand in hand with being Prince of the Seven Kingdoms.
He's Lord of Dragonstone, not the Prince of
No, he's
Dragonstone.
it is Prince of Dragonstone. Because that's the title, or at least that was the title under the Targaryens.
Honestly, he should be fucking Prince of the Dumpster because that's the only place the story belongs.
Right? Though her brother, Sir Rob, did help when he was not busy drooling over, and failing to hide his drooling over, her brother Loras. But yeah, like, Peach's point of when did Rob ever display any attraction for the male species? Apparently right now.
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
It's like, Lady Sansa also proved to be very useful in their hunt of Lord Baelish. How?
I'm about to say, Sansa's not useful for anything.
Sansa's more useless than Sakura.
Yes.
At least Sakura can punch people.
Fucking heal.
And punch.
A few tips given, and the older man was obsessed with her. Distracted beyond any little games Marjorie could have imagined using against him.
What?
Sansa, for her part, was charmed but not fooled by him, which was a relief. Even though her disbelief of him had been caused by Littlefinger himself, and his early misstep of calling her by her mother's name, rather than Jon's distrust or Marjorie's instruction. Littlefinger would not make this
Wolf
mistake.
is a fucking terrible writer. Okay, like this, like I know we all know it. But it's like holy fucking shit, she sucks. No fucking wonder she deletes all the comments, like forbids people from commenting. No fucking wonder she made this like invisible on Archive of Our Own. She sucks. She is so fucking bad.
If it's
Holy
invisible, how
shit.
did I even find it in the first place?
I don't know. I think it's restricted, I guess. So since you have a fucking Archive of Our Own account, you can find it. But jeez, dude,
Oh yeah.
it's so fucking bad. And she she deference herself to any kind of criticism because she just deletes reviews and makes it impossible for people to review.
I don't like Littlefinger, but he's competent.
Yeah, he's not. He would not make
He's
this.
He's one of the best players in the fucking game.
Okay, solution. She is obviously using the Littlefinger written by Dan and Dave, and not the Littlefinger written by George R.R. Martin.
You mean Dumb
Even
and
the
Dumber?
one written by them was smarter than this.
Well,
Was he though?
She's got to write at her level, and even Dan and Dave are above her level, apparently.
You can only write someone as intelligent as you are.
So what you're saying is I'm a genius.
Sansa was out on a horseback ride with Lord Baelish and about 20 of her father's closest armsmen when Jon called Janos Slynt, commander of the King's Landing City Watch, into his office for questioning.
Oh god, no.
Marjorie sat behind a concealing screen and listened as Jon laid out all of the evidence of his corruption that they had collected from various sources, including the Grand Maester's own records. As you can see, I have several instances of corruption and even treason I can lay at your feet. Treason? Commander Slynt squeaked. You have been treasonously derelict in your duties, Jon reiterated. You and your men allowed unauthorized and unchecked persons within Maegor's Holdfast, where the king sleeps, while the king was asleep, numerous times. You have allowed persons unknown and unchecked into the kitchens that make the king's food, Any one of them could have been an assassin. They could have murdered the king, and you, your men, and your foul corruption would have been to blame. Janos Slint sat back with a hard swallow.
This is a loose definition of treason.
Very much so. It's like, okay, yes, Janos Slint is very corrupt. That was established in canon. Why not
Sick idea.
go to the evidence that Tyrion gathered against him and use that?
I have a thick idea. Instead of Janos Slint, you have Thanos Slint. Just like everything else is the same, it's just Thanos.
Now, if you provide testimony and records of all of the corruption you are aware of, within the Gold Cloaks and beyond, you will go to the Wall, where you will learn what it truly means to fulfill your duties faithfully.
Where you'll get shanked by a wildling.
Testimony? Commander Slint stuttered. No, I cannot. If I do that, I am dead. That is your other option, John agreed reasonably. But if you go that route, I will not cut off your head. I will hang you, which is a long, slow death, I assure you.
What?
And your body will remain on the walls of the Red Keep until your neck bones grow too brittle to support the weight any longer. The entire realm will know exactly what you did to earn such a punishment. Your wife and your children will have to flee King's Landing and change their names to escape the shame of you.
I'm sorry, but a punishment that is long, execution would be one of the cages.
This person doesn't know how hanging works. They think that hanging just like slowly suffocates the person, when in fact it fucking snaps their neck.
No, I mean, sometimes it can go wrong, and
that's
take
only
a
if you
long
botch
time.
the hanging. And
Yeah.
a good executioner wouldn't botch your hanging.
And even if it's botched,
then Westeros, the executioners have enough practice not to botch a hanging.
and even if it was botched, it's not going to take hours or something like that.
No.
No, much better threat is putting him in a cage to, slowly starve to death and be pecked apart by birds and insects.
Yeah, exactly.
She
Or do the
peeked.
fucking rat barrel punishment execution.
She peeked through the seams in her screen to see Commander Slint reeling in his chair, looking faint. On the other hand, your testimony will be kept private until I need to make use of the relevant parts of it. I will not name you as my informant until you are safely in the care of the Night's Watch, and even then I will never do so in open court. What say you? In the end...
What say you?
In the end, Janos Slint's testimony was enough to send half of the officers of the City Watch, and a third of the rest to the Wall.
That's not a good thing.
712 men in total, including Commander Slint himself. I mean, it's good for the Wall, not good for King's Landing. Of course, on the other hand, it's not good for the Wall because they've already shown to be corrupt.
That means the majority of...
Yeah.
Janos Slint, Lord Commander.
And it revealed that over 200 of the men on the City Watch rolls did not exist.
Littlefinger's better than that.
Yeah. Their salaries
So
were being
much.
paid out, but the money was split between Lord Baelish, who had been given leave by King Robert to handle all hiring for the crown, Commander Slint, and the officers that hid both their existence from the men and their absence from the crown. All told, they would be left with less than 1,200 men on the City Watch to keep peace within the city.
That's horrible.
Yeah. 1,200 men to police a city with a population of millions.
And, like, you know, they're gonna be like, why is the crime rate rising? Like, where are all these criminals coming from?
That many men couldn't even stop a large riot.
Nope.
Daemon Targaryen would look upon the City Watch with shame. Shame.
Shame.
That Daemon Targaryen.
What?
I said Matt Damon Targaryen.
Oh, God.
Marjorie left her concealing screen once Loras and his Rob had Commander slid out of the room and on his way to
And his Rob?
quarters within Maegor's Holdfast. Loras and his Rob.
What?
It's not Rob and his Loras, it's Loras and his Rob.
Loras wears the pants. That's the lady of the relationship.
What the fuck?
Oh.
So I guess Rob really is the fucking Lady of Winterfell.
Yep.
Damn.
Maybe it's the Tyrells we need to worry about taking over.
Well, luckily, you know, if like Loras is any indication, the family line won't last long.
I mean, weren't you the one that said there's a way for men
Oh,
to have
God.
children?
When there's a
Ah.
will,
Horribly
there's a
corrected.
way.
1,200 men on the City Watch, John, she said. That was nowhere near enough to keep the peace.
At least the author's aware of that.
Well, that's the thing. It was less than 2,000 total to begin with, and that's not enough.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they sent 712 men to the wall, leaving them with 12.
Canonically, wasn't it 6,000 men in the Watch?
No, I'm talking about like watching.
No, I know you
Oh,
are,
yeah.
but canonically, it's like 6,000.
Yeah, but she's saying it's only 2,000. That's nowhere near enough. Like, even before the corruption was rooted out, it's not enough to keep watch over the city.
That would be maybe enough to keep watch over White Harbor.
Yeah, White Harbor, but not King's
No,
Landing.
not King's Landing.
Not King's Landing.
Huh.
I know, he frowned gravely. We need more men, and we need them now. Have a page call Sir Paxton Massey to me. Failing that, send him a raven. Though last I knew, most of the Crownland lords were still here from the tourney. Of course, she nodded. I will send a raven to Dragonstone for armsmen. Between my Dragonstone guard, your Tyrell armsmen, and Rob's Stark armsmen, we should have enough to keep the Red Keep secure, and allow the remaining City Watch to focus on the city. I will put Lord Commander Barristan Selmy of the King's Guard in charge of the lot within the castle.
What?
That's below Barristan's. Like that's not important enough for Barristan to oversee.
Not just not important enough, that takes him away from his duties as a King's Guard.
Yeah. Like, you.
Oh.
Sir Paxton will command the City Watch then, she guessed. Yes, I will help him get the watch reorganized so he can focus on hiring and training new gold cloaks. I want to have 5,000 gold cloaks by the end of the year. That was one for every 100 people in King's Landing. No.
Huh?
King's Landing is a city of millions. Not 500,000.
I'm pretty sure there's at least 1 million people.
King's Landing population. It's on fandom, but what does a song?
And that's also Game of Thrones,
yeah.
not A Song of Ice and Fire.
Wiki of Ice and Fire. What does it say?
My bad. I fucking read that as 500,000 gold cloaks at first, and I realized it's 5,000. My bad.
Apparently, according
Press
to Wiki of
the
Ice and Fire,
source.
yeah, Storm of Swords, chapter 38.
Okay. Give me a second.
That makes no fucking sense for a city of that size. Rome was millions of people, I think, at its higher. Like, how many people?
Said 38, right?
Yeah.
George is not good with numbers, to be fair.
Yeah, fair.
That's chapter 38. First, I'm on chapter 68 right now. 38.
So historians estimate that the population of Rome would have reached up to 1 million people at its peak. Now, considering that Westeros is supposed to have been around for a lot longer at this point, I'm actually not sure.
But King's Landing hasn't.
Yeah, that's
King's
exactly
Landing
it.
has
Like, it's
been
only
around
been
for
since
300 about 300
conquest.
years.
And the height of Rome was the Five Good Emperors, which I think was like late, I think it was like the early 100s. Yeah, the early 100s. It would have been around 98 to 117 BC, because that's when AD, 98 to 117 AD, when Trajan was in control, because that was the height of the Roman Empire in terms of like area.
You do like the Roman Empire.
I mean, I did study it for like years on end.
Yes.
While Mand is looking up that source, I will continue. A tad excessive, she commented. Not if someone decides to attack the city to protest my place as prince. He gave her a meaningful look, and she knew she was concerned about Renly. What? She knew he was concerned about Renly. Okay. That took me too long to work through. To be fair, we've been going at this for 2 hours already.
Yeah, I blinked out for a second. I thought you were saying Ridley. I was like, when the fuck did this cross over with Metroid?
The Seven take Renly. The Seven are more concerned with Jon destroying their faith.
They should be. They really shot themselves in the fucking foot when they chose him to isekai, like, back in time.
No, like, they literally told him to destroy their faith.
Wow, they really, like, wow, that's a fucking...
Yeah.
Damn, that's high IQ, dude.
It's like...
500 IQ.
Let's go back to chapter 1. Comments have been turned off. I write feel-good fiction. If you don't like that and want something gritty or whatever, please go somewhere else. I cannot and will not help you.
Why are we going back to chapter 1? Dude, did you just describe this as feel-good fanfiction? Because it's making me feel the opposite of good.
Yes. Talking about...
I feel good.
Yeah, so that's because you're a masochist, dude.
I feel great, actually.
I mean, no.
Masochism is fun.
It closer to sadism because we're enjoying y'all's suffering.
Yeah. Speaking of sadism,
I think the entire population of the eastern coast of the Mediterranean just says inbuilt masochism after thousands of years being dominated by larger empires.
I'm not finding it anywhere in this chapter.
You leave in 3 days for the marches, she reminded him. We will do what we can, John sighed. It will be a busy 3 days. In the end, John took to sentencing the criminals on the city watch in groups of 20 at a time. John had only had to take 10 heads right there in the throne room, using the true, authentic Dark Sister, before the rest agreed to go to the wall. Oh yeah! When they went beyond the wall, John came into contact with Bloodraven. Bloodraven was going to try to attack John, but John just bull nuked him and
No, Bloodraven literally woke up and he was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Didn't even intensely "Yo, what the fuck are you guys doing in my house?" Before John fucking murdered him.
Yeah, and then that's when they found Dark Sister.
What shit?
Marjorie had managed to reclaim all the men's unjust pay for the City Watch's needs, and left the rest to the families they would be leaving behind, which pleased John. The black cells were groaningly full, but together they did their best to minimize the former City Watchman's stay. It would take weeks to get 702 men on boats. Wasn't it 712 earlier? Oh, 10 people died. 10 people chose to die rather than take the black. It would take weeks to get 702 men on boats and ship north, but they placed the first 100 on a trio of ships headed north the day before John had to leave. John sent ravens north daily and explained to her what they were about, so she could respond in his stead once he left. I wrote Lord Commander Mormont of the Night's Watch to warn him of how many men we were sending his way, John said frankly over dinner to her and their siblings. The Watch does not have the resources to support so many men, so I have made the suggestion of negotiating with wildlings for them to settle in the Gift, and New Gift at least, until winter is past. John, my boy, this decision is what got you killed in the first timeline.
Wait, what?
He decided to write Mormont to move forward with John's plan of settling the wildlings in the Gift and New Gift.
That's actually not what got him killed in the books.
I know, but this is using a lot of show stuff, so I'm going show.
Oh, here we go.
Did you
500,000 people stink. Yeah, take a good sniff, my lord. Fill up your nose. 500,000 people stink more than 300, you'll find. Do you smell the gold cloaks? There are near 5,000 of them. Then
wow, Jordan
20,000.
fucked up with the numbers there.
Land below the wall is much more fertile than the free folk are used to. The Night's Watch could easily demand 25 to 30% of what they grow, catch, and make without unduly burdening the wildlings. And bringing the wildlings below the wall keeps them from swelling the ranks of the army of the dead once winter truly comes.
So does killing them.
Only if you kill them below the wall.
Yeah.
And burn their bodies.
Of course.
Do you believe all of that is coming? Loris asked. The long night, the Night's King, all that. We saw it, Sir Rob told her brother. When we were beyond the wall, we were set upon by the dead. Every man that fell rose up again to kill those that remained, until John started setting the fallen on fire. The children of the forest confirmed the long night was coming, John agreed. The magic we accidentally unleashed beyond the wall bought us time. 10 to 15 years, by their estimate.
What?
But it is coming. The wall has to be ready for it. We all must be. Okay, why would releasing magic beyond the wall
Wasn't it a
slow
fucking
down?
barrier that was keeping back the fucking White Walkers? That was it. Yeah, and they got Ramsay Snow, Ramsay like fucking murdered
Oh
on
yeah,
that trip as well.
yes. Yeah,
What?
The
yeah,
memories
Ramsay,
I so fervently repressed are coming back to me. You
Yeah.
can all go fuck yourselves for that.
Ramsay Snow went beyond the
That's
wall
your
with them
fault.
and tried to run away from the army of the dead and got summarily killed.
Wow. That's what shit.
We will write Willis, Marjorie offered. The Reach always has surplus. We can donate it to the Watch. Aye, Loris agreed, proving he was spending too much time with Northerners.
Aye.
That would be good, John nodded. I sent a raven to Lord Stark, warning him because some of these cowards are going to run.
You know, everyone's so generous in this.
I mean, it's a feel-good thing, didn't you know?
God.
Rob hummed a dark agreement. What about Lord Stannis? Sansa asked. Should the Royal Navy not be waiting to catch stowaways attempting to escape to Essos on a Night's Watch trading vessel? I asked him, John admitted unhappily. But boarding and searching a Night's Watch vessel would essentially be an attack by the Crown upon the Night's Watch, whereas a man running away from the wall that had gotten beyond the new gift would be the Night's Watch entering Crown lands without permission, effectively invading us, which gives us leave to execute them.
What?
What?
That's...
It's not entering the Seven Kingdoms that gets them executed. It's literally running in the first place. Moving on. Sansa tipped her head in agreement. It seems stupid and nitpicky to Marjorie, but it was the law. Now, John set aside his plate. Did you want me to leave Loris or Rob, or should I take both of them with me? I promise I will not get them more than a little bloody. He had warned her she would need to make this decision today, which had been lovely. Not that she was getting choices from her future husband, which were a rare thing for a woman of any station in Westeros to have, but that she was getting a warning that the decision was needed was even rarer. Honestly, she grinned when Laura sighed at her, I think they clearly both need more practice on their lovelorn sighs, so you should take Rob and I will keep Loris. Mayhap I should take Loris, you should keep Rob. Rob, I know, is a blooded warrior, and he could use more exposure to the capital. Loris has been involved in southern politics since he could toddle. This would be a relatively safe way for him to bloody his blade. Marjorie hummed and tapped her shin in thought. She did not believe for a moment John would not support her choice. She thought that perhaps he wanted to play with their brothers, so she dragged it out for a moment before shaking her head. No, I think it would be better for us to prolong the brutally honest northern barbarian reputation you have both been using so effectively. You take Rob.
What?
I am keeping Loris. I don't understand the point of this exchange.
There is no point.
As my lady wishes, John winked at her. It was cute, him learning to play little games with her, for her, and it was much more effective at charming her than the years of mangled roses and poorly rhymed poetry she had gotten from past suitors trying to win her hand. She found that she rather liked it. Marjorie saw John and pulled off before the dawn with Sansa on one side and Loras on the other. At their back was the newest addition to the Kingsguard, Sir, because members of the Kingsguard were always a Sir, Brienne of Tarth.
What? What? I
have nothing against Brienne getting knighted or joining the Kingsguard.
I have something against her joining the Kingsguard. She doesn't have the skill to join the Kingsguard.
Sounds like you're jealous.
I'm talking more in general. If she had the skill, I don't care if she's in the Kingsguard.
Sir Brienne.
Why is Brienne even in King's Landing?
Isn't the name for female knight Dame?
Yes.
Brienne.
But apparently, it doesn't matter if it's in the Kingsguard.
In the real world, it is. In Westeros, it's never fucking happened.
Until season 8.
It's okay, Mandalore will be the first Dame.
But my question
the Dame
is,
of Blackwater.
Why is Brienne in King's Landing to begin with?
My question is, what the fuck she did get knighted?
Oh.
Seriously.
Like, Renly is off planning his own
She crushed
rebellion.
Robert's pelvis.
Like, Renly is off planning his own rebellion. Brienne would have gone to his side.
I unfortunately need to head off, so
Farewell.
Better reading.
He's not even dreaming. It's 1 p.m. there, dude. He's in Australia.
I didn't know that, so...
The accent wasn't clue enough.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he has a pretty thick accent, dude. What he needed to do was, like, say crikey and say, I gotta go put a few more shrimp in the Barbie.
People that have accents can live in America. We're a pretty big cesspool of different people.
No, they cannot.
There's America. We speak American here.
Yes.
Any other language, you're getting deported.
Sir Brienne was as tall as any man and twice as honest. John had sparred with her and been impressed. She had kicked Loras' entire arse.
What?
Wasn't Brienne and Loras' cannon fight rather close?
No, she won because she got... First of all, Loras disarmed her almost immediately, and then she took most of the blows on her armor and then tackled him off his horse.
Okay, so yeah, like that's...
She got her ass kicked and won through... Well, they called it trickery, but it was really just using superior size and strength.
Her honesty was a bit difficult for Marjorie, since she herself was used to being slightly dishonest in the interest of destroying her enemies. But Sir Brienne was intuitive and knew when to give her space without having to be directly asked.
Since when has Brienne been intuitive?
Since right the fuck now. What have you found? She asked Loras as he joined her at luncheon on one of the garden terraces of the Red Keep. The upside of having the black cells so full was that it gave those close to John as the Master of Laws a number of reasons to look around down there whenever they felt the need. Loris had
He
even
has
What?
he has that authority anyway without
Yeah, he has that benefit purely as prince. It's like, who's going to stop those close to the prince from moving around the keep? Loris had even gone so far as to take on his first squire, a Lannister-aligned lad named Podrick of House Payne, to assist in the investigation.
Of course.
Excuse you, Podrick belongs with Tyrion. Fuck off right now.
Yeah, Podrick very much belongs with Tyrion. Payne had proven himself to be clever and loyal. He was far more likely to go unnoticed than a knight of high station and growing renown such as Loris. More workers that do not exist, Loris answered her in a low tone, and a concern for Lady Sansa. I believe dangling her before Lord Baelish for too much longer may prove to be a problem. Marjorie considered that. If Loris had concerns about Baelish in his regard for Sansa, well, he was a better judge of men than she was, and they both knew it.
What?
Whatever you say.
Oh.
Moving on. I will remind her that she is in the capital to attend me as my lady-in-waiting the next time I see them together. That should make him back off of whatever his newest scheme was, and buy Sansa the space to breathe, at least in the short term. Very good. So Loris agreed it would be enough. For now, at least. She got her opportunity that very day, as people were milling about the throne room before the formal audiences began. Sansa, she greeted with a grin. My lady, Sansa bowed. Lord Baelish copied her just a heartbeat behind. None of that now, Marjorie pulled her into a hug. You are to be my good sister soon enough. You are too kind, my lady. I have not seen you at all, she said right over the young Stark rose. What?
Wait, what? They call Marjorie a rose because of her house. Ugh.
The young Stark Rose. Isn't that adorable?
Moving on. I thought you were in the capital to attend me, not take lessons in whatever from Lord Baelish. I know he's
What a
your
weak
mother.
sentence.
I know he is your mother's childhood friend, but enough is enough. Sansa shot her a grateful look before dipping into a bowed head curtsy to hide her face. Of course, my lady. I do apologize for being so distracted. Well, come. You can make it up to me by getting me through these dreadful audiences. She kept talking as she walked away, forcing Sansa to keep up with her.
Did she just say that in the middle of a public forum?
She said that in the middle of the throne room, right before the audiences.
In front of Lord Peter Baelish?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Not that I mind the audiences per se, but the air circulation in this room is simply awful.
It's
not.
Do you think they're being smart? But it's like, no, this is like the dumbest fucking shit that you
Yes.
could possibly do here.
Is not it awful? It is awful, my lady, Sansa agreed. Marjorie kept nattering until they were well within her circle of attendant ladies, sirs, and guards. She had been playing such games since she could form words, so she did not actually have to think about what small talk she made. It just came out as second nature.
Then it should be better.
Obviously, your games have not been very successful. They say practice makes perfect. But imperfect practice does not.
Yep. I agree with this.
It gave her the mental space to notice how Sansa's shoulders dropped and her back straightened the further they got from Lord Baelish. I know that I asked you to keep him occupied, she said once the audiences had distracted most of the crowd.
What was with that pause?
I don't know.
That makes it sound like she's asked.
Yeah, it makes it sound like an innuendo.
Well.
Poor Sansa being whored out. Keep Baelish's attention.
Sansa being whored out by her bastard brother's betrothed. She said once the audiences had distracted most of the crowd and they physically were secure enough for her to do so. But do not ever put yourself in such an uncomfortable situation for my sake, Sansa. Not ever again. I just could not bear it if you did. Thank you, my... Sansa cut herself off at Marjorie's raised eyebrow. Marjorie, I am not even sure exactly what the problem was. He just...
Should we just start calling Marjorie Margarine? Because, fuck her. I don't know.
Lord Baelish has been manipulating people more experienced than you for longer than any of us have been alive. Loras gripped Sansa's shoulder to comfort the girl. Do not be worried. You know the truth. Who you are, who your family is, the future your brother will secure for you. Those things matter. Focus on them. She leaned into Loras' arm like Marjorie had seen her do with her brothers so many times, and she was struck by an idea. Well, that's dangerous. You need a period of no contact, she told the other woman. I'm sorry, Sansa is very much just a girl at this point. He's not a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Unless John makes her one.
No, they sent her to Baelish. She's probably a woman now.
Oh, God. A clean break between you and Lord Baelish. That sounds like they were dating.
Yes, it does.
You will walk only with Sir Loras, if you are not walking with me. If you receive any little notes from Lord Baelish, you will pocket them and leave them to me to respond. If anyone, and I mean anyone, asks you about your time alone with Sir Loras, you will respond like a love-struck little girl hoping for a betrothal. Both Loras and Sansa snorted at that. Do you understand? Yes, my lady. Will I need to copy your responses to him in my own hand? Marjorie nodded. Sansa was a smart one. It would be wise. I'm sorry, but that's not smart, it's just common sense.
Not for these people.
True, the bar is pretty low. It might be a smart move for them. Sansa tipped her head in acceptance, and they all turned their attention to the man on his knees before the throne. He had the muddy look of a Riverlander, and he was clutching his hat desperately in his hands.
The exaggerated swagger of a Riverlander.
They don't got much to swagger about.
Of course. Do not fear, Lord Tyrion was saying placatingly. Prince Jon is raising men in your defense as we speak. I promise you, the mountain that rides will not harry your lands for much longer. I heard the mountain went rogue within hours of Lord Tywin's death, Loras whispered to them softly.
What?
He would not have had word of Tywin's death within hours.
Even if he did, he wouldn't have gone rogue.
Right. Unless Tywin had a standing order that if he were to die, to rape and pillage the Seven Kingdoms.
If Tywin had a standing order like that, maybe, but...
Oh.
That doesn't seem like a very fucking smart thing for Tywin to make a standing order about, though.
Okay.
He'd be like, report to my son or some shit.
Apparently the mountain was in Winterfell. For reasons.
What the fuck?
How the fuck did he escape to go rogue then?
He did, Sansa confirmed. He rode out of Winterfell in a temper before dawn the next day. I did not know he settled in the Riverlands to cause havoc.
Cause havoc. What a sanitized...
The Riverlands is the least defended and defensible of the Seven Kingdoms, Loras told her. Fewest men-at-arms and made up of flat, rolling plains. There are no truly good places to take a stand there, but many places to hide. His choice was logical, in a way.
No, it wasn't.
Saedra just putting into words the Riverlands being the least useful of the Seven Kingdoms. The Iron Islands don't count because they should just be burned to the ground. It just proves the danger of an attack dog such as he, Marjorie added, shaking her head. Removed the leash for but a moment. Sansa hissed at them and clutched Marjorie's hand. That is Bronze Yohn Royce. Sansa turned to see the next petitioner. He looked exhausted, and even dirtier than the man that came before. But he was clearly highborn, wearing fine bronze armor inscribed with runes unlike any she had ever seen.
People make fun of his bronze armor.
I mean, yeah, it's bronze. In a land where Castleforge steel is what most people aspire for. Because most people cannot aspire for Valyrian steel.
Especially in her armor.
My king, Yohn Royce knelt easily despite his advanced age, as his voice boomed through the now silent room. I come before you with ill tidings. How much you want to bet it's about the illegitimacy of Sweet Robin?
Yeah. Most likely, and also ill tidings. What the fuck? Stealing stuff from Lord of the Rings, huh?
Out with it, King Robert demanded. Lady Lysa Arryn has thrown herself and her son Sweet Robin, Lord of House Arryn, through the moon door of the Eyrie. Okay.
What?
What? Okay, so not confirming Sweet Robin's illegitimacy, but Harry the Heir still takes the veil and unless Saedra is just forgetting about Harry the Heir because he never appeared in the show.
Oh, God.
What? King Robert looked aghast. She was disturbed, my king. We did not know what she was about, ranting about her son being taken away from her and other things. There was not much sense to be had in her last words. King Robert clearly did not know what to say to that. I regret to inform you that the House of Arryn has ended. The Vale
What?
asks the Crown to choose our new Lord Paramount, else a civil war is inevitable. Yep, she's just forgetting about Harry the Heir.
Harry the Heir doesn't exist. The line of the errands has ended.
Oh, for fuck's sake. John will do it, King Robert said finally. My son was named for the last Lord of the Vale. Clearly, the gods have chosen this new role for him.
Fucking hell.
Even more blatant Stark takeover.
This man must be stopped. Someone hire the faceless man immediately.
So he's former Hand of the King. He's Master of Laws. He's Prince of Dragonstone. And now Lord Paramount of the Vale.
Why not?
I guess. If you're gonna wank a character, you might as well go all the way.
So, okay, this is clearly the work of the Seven. Because the Vale is one of the cornerstones of the faith of the Seven. So John gaining control of the Vale better facilitates him breaking the Seven.
Yep.
Next,
Correct.
Something is going to happen that allows John to also become the Lord of Old Town.
Oh God, no.
Yep. Indeed.
And the Mephisto conspiracy is real, too, I'm guessing.
Lord Tyrion, write the proclamation, and send my John a letter. Inform him of his new holdings immediately. Make sure Stannis has a ship standing by as storms in to take him to his new lands as quickly as possible.
I thought he said John was going to pick the new Lord Paramount.
No.
Not
No,
become
John
the
is
Lord
becoming
Paramount.
the Lord
Dude,
Paramount.
Phaedra is such a fucking terrible writer. Like, she hates Robert. She wants it like John hates Robert, but there's nothing in this that makes Robert hateable. Like,
It's not John.
And Robert
Okay?
all this shit for
John doesn't hate Robert. Marjorie hates Robert.
Listen,
No,
his
John
name
hates
is not
Robert.
John.
John wants to kill Robert, remember?
His
Like,
name is
when
my
he's
John.
He's like, I'm
Okay?
going to kill him. Some shit like
No,
that.
no. You have to call him my John from now on.
Our John. Alright, we're doing
Oh,
the
God.
play to
Please no. Please no.
Seven Kingdoms.
Please no. I had a D&D character named Arjan.
I like it.
Myth, from now on, you must call him Arjon.
And see Lord Royce comfortable so that he may recover. And see Lord Royce comfortable so that he may recover before he must return to the Vale. Of course, my king, Lord Tyrion signaled for a servant and a guard to step forward. You must be exhausted, Lord Royce, from your trip. Please allow us to extend you the courtesy of a guest room, a few hot meals, and a bath. Not in that order, I hope, Lord
Royce,
Hand.
do you want
Lord
dinner,
Royce tried
a bath,
to get
or me?
No.
Moving on, Lord Tyrion gave him an almost laughing smile. I am sure we can be flexible. After Peach's comment, there's no other way that can be taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you. Thank you, Peach, for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
God.
Well, shit.
Tyrion can contort his little dwarf body in all sorts of poses.
Well, shit. Marjorie leaned against a column, shocked by the sudden development. Now Jon was not only Prince of Dragonstone and Master of Laws, but Lord Protector of the Vale and Warden of the East. It's Lord Paramount of the Vale. She needed to get this Littlefinger situation locked away so she could take up other burdens on his behalf. It was time to involve Lord Tyrion and get on with being, at the very least, the Lady of Dragonstone. And that's it for Chapter 5.
That's how we're gonna have Jon marry more women.
Oh.
She's just the Lady of Dragonstone.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, for a second I misread and thought that she was saying she was gonna involve Lord Tyrion and the Lady of Dragonstone. I was like, who the fuck is the Lady of Dragonstone? Rickon?
Marjorie is the Lady of Dragonstone.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, if fucking Rob's gonna be the Lady of Winterfell.
No, Loras
anything's
is going to be the
possible.
Lady of Winterfell.
Not with how their relationship is described.
He's only the dom in the bedroom.
Loras or
Yeah, Loras. Rob is in charge in
they describe him
public.
as his Rob. They describe Rob as Loris's Rob. You know, when they're just talking everyday life. So obviously,
Is that
but-
like my John?
Oh God, no.
obviously Loris is straight. But Rob is gay because he's the one who takes it in the ass. But Loris, since he's giving it, you know, by grown definition, he's straight.
Yep, that's Roman law.
And
He
you do
cannot
like
sit
Rome.
on the Senate.
Refute what I put in author enclosure. Yes or no? Would you
I refute it.
Yes, because he'll
refute it.
never
What
fucking
did you
tell to
put
get
in
with a woman
author
who even has
enclosure?
children in the first place.
I don't know what you put in there, but I
You're a
refute it.
dumbass.
Man, if you ever had sons, would this be how you would be a father?
I say no to
No.
my sons a lot when they ask for something. Not because it's good for them or anything. It just feels good to have that kind of power over someone.
Are you bullshit? You wouldn't do that, man. Bullshit. You wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I would.
I absolutely would not do that.
I don't believe you. Man, you're looking at a guy upon whom the Mandalorians were based upon. He was a Marine. And he thinks you're automatically gay if you served in the Air Force. Jesse Kelly's fucking hilarious.
Okay, so next.
After all, my kids might ask for a weapon.
Oh, so you're
Man,
having
did
kids?
you-
You're gonna
man,
have
did
kids
you ever
now?
mute me there for a minute?
Holy shit.
What happened?
Mandalore?
What happened to you
Someone-
by
someone
ever
muted me.
wanting kids?
Mandalore steady relationship, marriage, and kids?
I
God,
thought
no.
Mandalore was saving
Oh.
his virginity because he wanted to be a wizard, you know, get that spell sword.
You're a
Going.
wizard, Harry.
You're fucking idiotic.
Oh well, bye, man.
So
Hey, Peach,
Yo,
I
Yeah.
have something to say to you.
next week is going to be reading Forgiveness by Radiant Arabian Nights.
Yeah,
No.
that's what's up.
God.
So that's gonna be fun.
it really will be. It's gonna be so much
Each
fun.
Radiant Arabian Nights makes me ashamed of being autistic.
Radiant Arabian Nights makes Cetrus ashamed of being Australian.
Oh yeah, she is Australian. I forgot.
Yep.
But yeah, next
Wasn't it
week
like-
is gonna be Radiant Arabian Nights, the one who started it all.
Didn't
It'll
we
be
learn
fun.
several authors from
We should read her
Australia?
inheritance cyclofic.
I've said before, and I'll say it again. That's gonna be the last fanfic that I ever read.
Does she have
That's
several
because
though?
you will die reading it. You will die reading it, Myth. That's why.
Dude, she has. like
To listen to myth as his
She's-
soul cracks and leaves his body.
She has 726 figs. So,
Oh no.
Actually, she doesn't have.
You know, she's more accomplished than I am.
She has.
She's 29 and has more fix than I do.
She has 3.
All I gotta do
3
is send her a message.
Here are the
Being the only person that probably ever sends her a message, asking her to focus on inheritance cycle fix.
Here's her first inheritance cycle. Sapphira and Fernand's egg. Sapphira becomes pregnant with Fernand's eggs.
it's
How many will
Fiernan.
she lay?
It is pronounced
What will
Fiernan.
Aragon and Queen Arya think? One shot.
Peach.
Well,
Peach.
I-
It is Fiernan, not Vernon.
Tiernan. Okay, fine.
Say it. No. Say it.
Tiernan.
There you
And
go.
Isabella Swan is actually Dragon Rider Princess Isabella of Alethmira.
And then there's a sequel to Saphira and Fiernan's eggs. Aragon had 3 other brothers and 5 sisters that he didn't know about. They are in Elismira with Queen Arya, and a surprise for everyone happens. What is it? How can this change his life? One shot.
Oh yeah, that is a sequel. To the Fiernan thing.
Pretty much
I
the
thought there
biggest
was- I think the one with fucking Dragon Rider Princess Isabella is gonna be the worst one. Somehow, for one thing, 3 chapters, only just barely over 1,000 words.
God.
Those 1,000 words will kill myth.
Nearly 2,000.
And also, like, she's a fucking Dragon Rider, and yet she goes to Forks. It's like,
Isabella
apparently
Swan is
Forks
actually a
Oregon-
Dragon Rider Princess Isabella of Elismira.
Well, no.
She is over
My
300
main
years
takeaway
old.
from this is that apparently Forks Oregon is in like the world of the inheritance cycle.
Yes. She goes to Forks to check on reports of vampires, leaving her dragon in hiding. Then she falls in love with a vampire, and now she must tell him her secret.
Yeah, we should read that.
Eventually,
Me on my worst day could write better quality than Ran.
but yeah, she has 3
Man.
inheritance cycle fics. They will be the last
Man,
3
which is
Rand fics I read.
What's worse, man? Rand's average story quality or chapter 6 of the original chapter 6 of Invictus, which I will always carry with shame.
I don't even remember what happened in that.
Oh,
period.
fuck. That is.
Yeah, that is why you need to have. That's why you should always have one person to bounce ideas off of. You know what? Maybe that's really fucking stupid of an idea. Don't go with it.
I don't remember what happened in that
See,
chapter, but I don't think anything.
That was when Kakashi punched Naruto. That was
Oh
when
yeah,
Kakashi-
no,
Yeah, I hated
still fucking
myself.
worse.
Oh,
Because
At
at least
least
he tried
I-
to like,
afterwards-
dude. At least with Yofik, you actually tried to set up a reason as to why he would do this, while Radiant Arabian Nights just said shit happened for no fucking reason.
It was a
And then I
shit
realized-
reason, though.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
a shit reason,
and
but
then
at least
once
it
I
was
realized,
a reason.
I realized it within the days. Like, you know what? I think I made a fuck up right there, and then I made
Yeah,
an
you
even
did.
bigger fuck. I made an even bigger fuck up by not going back and fixing it for 6 months.
I mean, at least your writing quality is decent, so
There
you're
was
better
there
than
was
her.
yeah,
I like how he
there was a
hesitated
noticeable
there.
growth.
Yes.
Your fighting
thinking-
quality is
Decent.
Yeah, he's trying to do like a middle ground between it's not great, but it's not bad either. It's closer to good than it is to decent, but it's not great. Especially for Invictus, especially when you talk about Invictus. Indelible, on the other hand, that's good from the very beginning.
Are you
Right.
sure?
I'm gonna dip from
yes, I am sure.
I'm gonna dip from the
Arguable.
VC
Alright.
and do my closing YouTube remarks.
All right.
It was
Oh,
fun.
Just off
Peach.
YouTube. No.
Goodbye.
All right, for those of you on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me, the link to my Patreon is in the description